Hi, my name is Asia Rodriguez, and I'm the founder of Zola Counseling, a Maryland based mental health practice serving clients in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Puerto Rico. We're dedicated to providing trauma informed, culturally responsive care with a special focus on communities where therapy hasn't historically been the norm. Our work centers on creating access, reducing stigma, and supporting individuals and families with high quality, intentional clinical services. We're committed to meeting people where they are and offering care that feels relatable, respectful, and grounded in real world experiences. This webinar series, Communication and Connection After Baby, was created to support new parents and families during one of the most vulnerable transitions of their lives. In our clinical work, we see how the postpartum period reshapes communication, impacts partnership dynamics, and affects emotional well being. Yet, many families don't receive the guidance or support that they need. Our goal with this series is to provide practical tools, validate real challenges, and help strengthen connection in those early months when it really matters the most. With that foundation, I'm excited to introduce today's speaker, Samantha Kendall, who brings a wealth of insight and compassion to this conversation.
Thank you for that. Hello, everyone. I'm Samantha Kendall, a marriage and family therapist here at Zola. Outside of my work with individuals, primarily Black women, I am deeply passionate about supporting mothers of color through perinatal mental health challenges and helping couples strengthen and reconnect in their relationships. This webinar series, Communication and Connection After Baby, brings both areas of my work together in a great way. I've been so honored to round out this series on the topic of supporting couples in reimagining intimacy during their parenting journey. This series is all about honoring the full spectrum of postpartum experiences, the messy, the beautiful, and everything in between. Today, we'll be working to explore intimacy in all its forms: closeness, trust, tenderness, and connection. We'll talk about what changes after baby arrives and why it changes, and how to gently rebuild intimacy with compassion for yourself and your partner. So let's normalize those intimacy changes. Understand that these shifts in closeness after birth are completely normal and expected. Let's break down some of those barriers and explore them a bit. Identify the emotional and physical obstacles that impact intimacy during the postpartum period is an exploration. And let's lean into rebuilding connection. We're going to learn today some compassionate approaches to restoring closeness with your partner. And you'll take home some practical exercises for nurturing tenderness and trust. So let's talk about what changes and reframe intimacy after birth. Intimacy changes, it doesn't disappear. After baby arrives, everything shifts. For our birthing persons, your body has been through something profound. Your identity, individually and as partners, is evolving. Your energy is divided in new ways. And that means intimacy has to shift too. Here's what's important to remember: emotional safety often needs rebuilding before physical closeness can return. You're not broken, you're adjusting to a whole new chapter. You both are. Postpartum bodies, identities, and energy level shifts. Yes, it's all completely normal and expected. Give yourself permission to learn these new ways and this new language of connection with you and your partner. This journey may not be perfect, but my hope is after today, you'll have some tangible tools to practice and get back on track. So, what are these barriers to intimacy that I was discussing? Let's name what's actually happening. When desire is low and connection feels very distant, it's usually not about rejection. It's about the real concrete barriers that deserve acknowledgement and compassion. So, some common barriers to emotionality. Let's talk about that nervous system of yours. It has been maxed out. You may be feeling exhausted and overstimulated. It's also important to note that you're giving so much of yourself to your little one. So there may be feeling like there's little left to give to each other. That's called caregiving depletion. And some of us may be feeling unseen or unsupported in your relationship. We'll talk about some ways to get back to connection and those identity shifts. You may not feel like yourself anymore, but that's okay. There's a new you here, as well as new changes and new pieces of your identity that you can hold space for. And I would be remiss if I don't discuss mental health challenges when it comes to anxiety, postpartum blues, or any trauma triggers you may be experiencing. Those are our emotional barriers. Now, let's talk about some of the physical barriers. Your hormones. As a birthing person, your hormones have probably shifted a bit, and that can affect desire as well as arousal. We also will be remiss if we don't talk about pain or discomfort from healing tissues. It's okay. Give yourself and your body some time to recoup. And then we all hear about that idea of being touched out. So if you are feeding your baby, there may be times where you might be feeling touched out, and that's okay as well. And then there's shifts when it comes to your body image. Your body has changed, and sometimes your mind needs some time to catch up to that. As well as it's important to note that fear can become a physical barrier as well. The fear of rushing back to intimacy before you're truly ready. It's important to know that when desire feels low, it's not rejection. It's often fatigue, stress, or emotional distance. This aspect can impact your bandwidth for intimacy. So let's talk about emotional intimacy first. How do you rebuild that foundation? Before we can talk about physical intimacy, we'll have to talk about that emotional closeness. Emotional intimacy is really the soil from which physical intimacy and closeness grows. When you feel safe, seen, and supported as partners, the rest can follow gently in its own time. So let's talk about 3 invitation practices. These are small ways to rebuild connection without pressure or performance. These small moments can be small moments of affection. So let's talk about what that is. A hand on the back while you're passing in the kitchen, or maybe sitting closely on the couch instead of in separate chairs, sharing a warm glance across the room, or even a 10-second hug with no agenda. These micro moments matter. Next, let's talk about micro connection rituals. These would consist of 1 minute gratitude shared before bed, or even a nightly check in question like, what do you need tomorrow? A shared playlist you both add songs to, a short spiritual or prayer moment, if that's meaningful to you and your family, as well as consistency. That also builds closeness. We'll talk more later about some rituals and practices to include. Now, one of my favorites, words of affirmation and appreciation. These can consist of, I notice how much you do, or I love the way in which you connect with our baby. Thank you for handling bedtime. Or even, I'm proud of you and how you're growing as a parent. These words really are bridges back to each other. And it's important to remember affection does not have to be sexual. Sometimes a hand squeeze during a difficult moment is a whole love letter. So we talked about easing into returning to physical intimacy. There is no normal timeline for returning to physical intimacy. And for some birthing persons, there are delays into returning to physical intimacy. Some parents feel ready within weeks, others need months, and both are completely valid. What matters more than frequency of physical intimacy is consent, comfort, and communication. Physical intimacy isn't one single act, it's a whole spectrum. And every point on that spectrum counts as connection. So, this intimacy spectrum can go from cuddling on the couch to kissing without expectations. Whatever happened to those makeout sessions you used to do? Holding hands during a walk, giving or receiving a massage, showering together, deep, uninterrupted conversations, and sensual, but not sexual touch. Each of these is true intimacy. Each way is you saying, see you, and I'm here for you and with you. So I talked about gently moving into physical intimacy, but how do you actually start slow? There is a start slow sensual connection exercise I would love to share with you all today. This gentle practice is for you all to try at home and a way to explore closeness without pressure or performance. There is no goal of sex, only comfort and closeness. To start, you may sit facing each other fully clothed and find a moment. No phones, just the two of you. Take a few slow breaths together and sync your breathing. Let your nervous system settle. If you have a male partner, be sure that they attempt to sync with your breath, as they may have larger lungs, no hyperventilation on our watch. Do what really feels comfortable. Next, you'll shift into light touch. One person will initiate a gentle touch without agenda and just presence. This light touch may be on the hand, the arm, shoulder, or even gently placing a hand over each other's hearts. Next, name one thing your body needs. It may be, I need rest. I need to feel held. I need reassurance. And just speak your truth. Lastly, you'll close with gratitude. You'll thank each other for showing up just the way you are. And that's it. That's the practice. Intimacy is not a performance, although it's often shown as one. It's connection. And your body, after birth, deserves compassion, not pressure. So, how do we talk about these things? How do we name our needs? How do we navigate body changes and express ourselves? How do we decrease that pressure? I'm here to share a few communication scripts for vulnerable conversations. Sometimes the hardest part isn't feeling something, it's really finding ways to express it in words and then share it. These scripts are bridges. They're not meant to be perfect. They're meant to help, especially when it comes to starting conversations with your partner. When you want to name a need, you can say something like, I want to feel close, but I'm exhausted right now. Can we try cuddling tonight instead? I miss you, but my body needs some more time. Can we explore other ways to connect? You might shift back into some of those vulnerability exercises or even the last exercise around starting slow. How do you express navigating body changes? You could say something around, I'm learning my new body. I might need some reassurance and some patience right now. Or I don't feel like myself yet. It helps when you tell me you still see me. This can also help your partner understand exactly what you're experiencing and how they can fill a gap. And what about decreasing pressure? You could share something like, I want us to explore closeness without rushing into anything. Let's focus on comfort first. Or can we take sex off the table for now and just practice being tender with each other? And then you can take moments to explore the spectrum of physical intimacy. It's important to note that if conversations about sex or emotional needs weren't modeled in your family growing up, these scripts can feel especially vulnerable or maybe even silly, but that's okay. Speaking openly is an act of courage and it's most powerful in the ways you rebuild your intimacy with your partner. Okay. So I said I would share a couple tools. One that I'm really excited to share is a weekly intimacy ritual. Consistency grows connection more than intensity. This ritual is designed to be very simple and sustainable and adaptable to your life. You could try it once a week. Some would try to do this on Sunday evenings, but you can choose what really fits your rhythm for your family. The Sunday 15 connection ritual. For 5 minutes, you and your partner will share one appreciation for your partner. Be specific. I love how you made me laugh this week. Theirs might be, I saw you smiling as you held our baby. Or I loved that when I was tired, you really showed up for me by taking over bedtime routine for me. Next, for the next 5 minutes, you'd share one need for the coming week and be honest. I need help with bedtime on Tuesday, or I need help with meal prep on Wednesday. Next, 5 minutes of small affection. This can be a hug, hand holding, or a forehead touch. No words necessary, just presence. And if you need ideas there, you can always go back and check out the intimacy, physical intimacy spectrum. This ritual isn't about grand gestures. It's really about showing up for each other week after week in small and tender ways. It's about naming what is needed and what is appreciated. And over time, these small moments can accumulate. They rebuild trust and they remind you we're in this together. So let's talk about our key takeaways for today. It's important to know your intimacy story doesn't end It evolves. Give yourself permission to explore what closeness means in this new chapter. And before bodies reconnect, hearts need to feel secure. Prioritize trust, tenderness, and being seen. And you don't need grand gestures. You need steady, gentle presence. Micro moments matter. And release timeliness, release expectations. What you need is patience with yourself and with each other. It's not a sprint, it's a slow and sacred moment unfolding. Trust the process and trust yourself. Your intimacy story doesn't end after baby, it begins again, deeper, more compassionate, and more real. I invite you all, if you want more of this, to visit our website to read blogs written by our therapists and connect with us here at Zola Counseling Solutions. You can also check us out on Instagram to see all of the offerings we have there as well. I'll pass it back over to Asia.
Thank you so much, Samantha. That was so great. And thank you everyone for tuning in today. If you found this helpful, we encourage you to share it with people that you know that might also find it helpful. And we hope this conversation really offered you the tools and validation you might need to that you can carry into your own postpartum journey. At Zola Counseling, we remain committed to supporting communities through accessible, culturally responsive education and care. This is an ongoing series, so we look forward to seeing you at one of our next webinars and hope you have a great rest of your day.